Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the Hearthstone meta seems to have a bit of a problem, a major one at that. We'll talk about it just a couple days after expansion launch, but it's not all doom and gloom. We'll talk about, there's a lot of good stuff going on, but definitely some things that are troubling. Before we get into it though, of course, I did announce our latest giveaway. Yesterday's golden pack opening. If you happen to miss it, give away $200 worth of Hearthstone packs to 2 viewers, so $100 each. It's whatever packs those winners want. All you have to do is like and comment in the video in the description below, subscribe to the channel, and yes, if we hit 57,000 subscribers, I will add another $100 to the giveaway. I will be announcing this giveaway winner next Wednesday, so hit that sub button, make me go broke. So what major problem am I talking about with the Hearthstone meta? And well, you don't have to look much further than HS Replay front page statistics, which again, I'll always say they're across all ranks. They're not the best to determine power level of stuff, but they give a general idea. And not that long ago, we had a video about the meta being more balanced per class than we had ever seen. It was like 5% different from top to bottom. But now when you're looking at standard, Warlock, well, carried by the Imp Warlock stuff, 55.4% with Demon Hunter and Warrior, both being sub 40%, which, well, Warrior is pretty well predicted, and Demon Hunter is like, well, maybe the Relic stuff will work out. Maybe the aggro stuff will work out. We'll take a look if it's actually working at higher ranks, but general picture, we have a very unbalanced meta in terms of class distribution. In Wild, not quite as bad, but also still not amazing, with basically 10% different from top to bottom. But we're not going to talk about Wild in this video. That's a whole different discussion for a whole different video. Let's dive in the meta and see what exactly is going on. So taking a look at top 1,000 legend ranks. So these are like the best players playing the best decks as well as you probably can in terms of like statistics you can get out there. And you can see the usual suspect is number one. Some people argue that Imp Warlock's only doing so well because, you know, it's aggressive and punishes greedier decks. However, power level of deck, it's absolutely legit. It's doing very well at top ranks. You'll see Naga Priest, which was one of the classes near the bottom, is doing well, but we saw that before during Sunken City as well, but people just don't seem to like playing it. You just don't see it a lot, with Quest Hunter up here as well. But again, this is a deck I'm actually not seeing a lot of. However, you'll note another Hunter deck, Face Hunter, is up here. Beast Hunter as well. That was the deck I hit Legend with and was very powerful. Control Murloc Shaman. We have some Scam Rogues. They're built on Death Rattle, Evolve Shaman, all the Druid stuff, right? Celestial Druid, Beast Druid, Death Rattle Druid, and then you have the Skeleton Mage and Big Spell Mage. So you can see we are missing quite a lot of classes here. Basically have no Paladin, we have no Warrior, we have no Demon Hunter, we have a lot of the same style of decks for multiple classes, whether it's Hunter, whether it's Druid, and we only have really the one Warlock archetype in Imp Warlock, which is just absolutely busted, and I think it holds a lot of stuff back. We'll get into it. But if you look at the bottom, why is Demon Hunter doing so bad? Look at the last 3 decks. They are all Demon Hunter. Relic Demon Hunter at an astronomically low 31.99%. It is just abysmal. Nothing in the deck is working. Popular version is based around, you know, Fell Demon Hunter and the Relics. They just take too long to get going. Your Imp Warlock opponent's developing like 8/8 Imps on turn 2 and drawing 6 cards. You're coining a Relic of Phantasms, getting a 3-mana 2/2 that doesn't do anything. So it takes a long time to get going. It almost feels like the Relics could be like their next phase, like right away or cheaper or whatever. Take a look at Paladin, Pure Paladin as well. Just struggling, not doing a lot, 43%. It's not that different when you take a look at these decks compared to their Sunken City variants. You have like the Lita Snob in here, you have the new Countess card, but just to get your payoff of the Countess, you have to play a 7-mana 7/7 that's not doing anything, and you got to spend 3 mana, hope to high roll a good legendary. It's a really cool card, but it's not really winning games, unfortunately. And the whole Secret Mage archetype as well not working. Thief Rogue has dropped a lot due to the power level of the other board-based aggression decks, and Warlock, the only other archetypes that are out there are Phylactery Warlock and Curse Warlock. So you take a look at like Imp Warlock, what is like crushing it with the deck? And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that Vile Library, 63% when held in the mulligan, this card just hard carries everything. It creates an absurd amount of stats early, and if you're playing any of these other decks we just looked at that are board-based decks, they can't compete with this early game, and they typically, well, they fall behind and die, and if they ever try and catch up, impending catastrophe kind of just slips in, fills their whole hand with whatever they want, create unrelenting pressure. It's just the power level, in my opinion, of these top decks are so above and beyond what these bottom classes can do, which to my point, rather than nerfing stuff, rather than nerfing the crap out of Imp Warlock, rather than nerfing the crap out of Druid, which I'm on board for. I'm on board for like them nerfing these decks maybe in a couple of weeks if this trend continues. What I would love to see is what Cantaloupe, a fellow Hearthstone streamer, responded to me when I was talking about the bad classes don't seem that far off, although Warrior and Demon Hunter do feel pretty darn off, I will say, is we'd love to see buffs instead of nerfs, more buffs. You know, we have all these cool new cards that, you know, they can do powerful stuff. They can do cool things. Like you take a look at the Enraged Warrior, which I don't even see listed on here. There's not even a sample size to look at for at least top 1000 Legend. Maybe we'll look Diamond through Legend. Can we find anything for Warrior? Yeah, Enraged Warrior, Diamond through Legend, 37.85%. But there are some really cool cards in here like Crazed Wretch and Decimator Olgra or Ramornia. There's such really powerful cards if you can get going. However, unlike an impending catastrophe, Warrior doesn't have that great of card draw. And Wild they do with Battle Rage, but in Standard it's not quite there. So I don't know if they can buff some card draw, they can buff just something along those lines, but I do think we do need a combination of buffing the bottom classes as well as dialing back. I do think Imp Warlock probably needs to be dialed back, especially whenever I face this card, Vile Library, or I face the impending catastrophe. The first thought in my mind is like, how are these cards allowed? They just feel broken, like in the most Blizzard way. I'm just like, how can we have 2 mana draw 8? I'll go to a tweet of mine. How do we go in one expansion to possibly 2 mana draw 8? And at the bare minimum, you're drawing a card, right? Like it always draws a card compared to the Warrior card draw of Conqueror's Banner that reveals a card from each player's deck 3 times, draw any of yours that costs more. You might not even get a card. You might get nothing for 2 mana, and it caps out at 3, where you get this guaranteed card draw engine with imps that are not very hard to generate. It's just like the power level disparity between classes to me is like no more evident than when you take a look at these cards. So maybe buff for Conqueror's Banner where it just draws a card right away. That would be nice, right? It's 2 mana draw a card, or dial back Impending Catastrophe to be similar to other 2 mana draw cards where it's like draw a card. If you control an imp, draw another, right? You draw 2 cards for 2 mana. That's better than Arcane Intellect, right? It's conditional like all the other 2 mana draw 2s in the game. But regardless, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I do think it is a problem when these classes are this varied, whereas this much of a difference between the bottom and the top. It feels bad if your collection is more limited to some of these classes where you outright feel like you can't play the game. So I hope we do see some changes in the upcoming weeks. Again, not calling for it like today or anything. Things are still developing, but I just can't see a world where the development's going to really help these classes go from the absolute dumpster to a competitive state without some help through some buffs or nerfs. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Should we see nerfs? Should we see buffs? Should we see neither? Should we see only one or the other? Should we see both? I think I listed all the options. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. I got my finger ready, and stay salty, my friends.